Simone is a multi-talented individual who first started his career as a model, competing in Mr. Italy. A turning point came when his agency sent him to Hong Kong, where he made the decision to shift his focus to videography.
This led him to exciting opportunities, including working with Joby, Mercedes, Xiaomi, Intel, DJI, and more. Today, Simone is also sharing his knowledge on both Skillshare and YouTube, where he's inspiring creators to hone their craft and build a successful creative business.
2015, yeah, let's go back to there. You've competed Mr. Italy, you won the 3rd place. Now, I wonder what kind of got you even in the modeling in the first place.
Probably because I was lucky and my mom gave me probably a decent body. I was very tall already at the time and always been around girls, let's say, even though I had a girlfriend for quite a long time. But then I really just wanted to try and see how this would work out. And in the end, it worked out pretty well. So yeah, there's not really a specific reason. I just like the modeling vibes of like being in front of the camera. I've always been quite confident, which, you know, might be positive or negative depending on the way you see it. But then, yeah, I really enjoy being in front of the camera.
What about, let's say, Mr. Italy? Was that your idea to just apply? Did someone like encourage you, maybe your mom?
I had no idea about modeling in general, literally 0%. But I had a friend who I knew from the swimming pool, let's say, industry, because I was working also as a swimming instructor and lifeguard at that time, that he was into like modeling a bit. And he said, you know, you should try this because if it goes well, you can get, you know, good stuff. So I tried it.
I mean, that sort of segues into the next thing you did. You moved to Milan in 2016.
Yes, exactly.
To pursue full-time, I'm guessing.
Tried it.
Yeah.
That's, if you want to be at a very good level in modeling, there's no chance you can be a good level if you're not into main towns, which means either, you know, Milan or Paris or London or New York. So you have to be in big cities because all the castings, all the companies are there. So I decided to move there because I wanted to pursue it full-time. A big agency got me there, like signed me, which means they would propose me an exclusivity with them. And usually when you start out, you need to have an agency. It's very, very difficult to make it happen as a freelancer, almost impossible. So they wanted me to move there and I was like, okay, I want to try it. I want to be serious with this. So I moved in Milan, but it was a very unhappy moment, probably the most unhappy I've ever been, because as basically with agencies, yes, they sign you, but they don't have anything to give you in exchange for your time. So they send you castings, but if you don't get the job, they don't really care because there are so many other people that can get the job instead of you. So for me, it was like I was not getting any money. I was getting very, very few jobs and I couldn't even pay a rent. But because I was working, theoretically, I didn't want to ask my parents for money for rent. So I ended up living in some pretty terrible living conditions, trying to cut down on food as well. I lost like 20 kg comparing to what you see me now, because agencies were telling me, hey, you're a bit too big, you need to, you know, cut down and stuff. But my bones are like this. I have huge shoulders and I do not fit an M, which is what they require. So a few things kind of didn't go well with this. And also they kept promising, you know, just need to wait, just need to do more casting, more things. And I'm like, listen, it's not working. Like, what do I do? And they didn't want me to find a part-time job because they wanted me only to focus on modeling.
To be available for casting.
Yeah. But that was an absolute, like, they basically destroyed me because at the end, after I think 8 or 10 months, I started working in a restaurant on weekends. And I loved it, even though it was extremely hard and I was getting €8 a night per hour. I loved it. I loved the experience because I could finally start earning some money, and from that point I started paying my rent, which is incredible, right?
How many castings did you do before you got a job?
Like normally on average?
Sometimes you have 10 castings a day and sometimes you have none. So let's say an average of maybe 30 castings a week. And in Milan, I stayed a year. I think I did 3 jobs in total. Some people obviously make it. Some people can make money. I'm not saying it's impossible, but this is literally a very, very small percentage of people.
So you come from a small village town. Just tell me a little bit about that and kind of how did your parents react to you moving to Milan and doing that?
Let's say it's very unusual that you move out from your town. Usually what happens is you do high school, you go to university, you find a job and you keep it until you die.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, that's how it works. And usually people do not move, let's say. Now I see a few of my friends, they did university and they tried and they are now trying to get into the industry they want to go for, let's say. But if you did not do university, you would just go for whatever you find in the job market. In my case, I started university because I basically had the first year for free because of my grades in high school. But then I did not like it. And I started doing this modeling thing with doing Mr. Italy. I arrived third and my mind was completely, I couldn't really focus on the study thing and I hated it.
And what were you studying?
Engineering, but more on the managing company side things.
Okay.
I don't know how to call it. It's just that the first 3 months that I did, because then I dropped out, it was ridiculously like nothing compared to the UK system where it's like, I don't know, it's just very different. A lot of math, a lot of geometry, a lot of calculation, which are like, I just didn't feel the vibe at all. My parents never ever tried to obstaculate me or do anything. They always been extremely supportive. 100% of that. They never imposed me anything. Always free to choose, which is a massive advantage because I know that is super, super lucky on that side.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good. I think my parents were kind of the same and it's just such a relief, you know? It's just one less thing to go through.
So after that, then the agency sent you to Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, basically I wanted to stop modeling, and then one of the very, very few positive things about modeling stuff is that you can almost travel for free, which means that they send you to a destination, and then the agency in the destination will pay for your expenses to go there. Okay. And then you have to pay them back with the jobs that you do. If you do not pay them back, you don't have to take money out from your pockets. So they'll just go in a loss on their own. So I moved to Hong Kong for 3 months for this free thing, whatever that is. I did not work there as well, which for me, Asia is even more difficult because I'm big, with my shoulders. So the clothes there are even smaller. And basically I did a very, very, very few jobs there. And then even there, the living conditions were a disaster. Like,
did they finance that for you, or did you have to find that yourself?
They did find it for me. So I was in a model house with 3 holes where 2 people would fit in like you don't understand, like the dimension of the rooms in Hong Kong are crazy. Plus in the modeling house, because they need to basically pay for you, they're even like smaller, very, very bad living conditions. We were 7 people with 3 small rooms and 1 person sleeping on the couch. 7 guys in a house with a bathroom that was like honestly, I don't even want to talk about it. It's very, very, very tough. But it's a learning and it's an experience that I wish no one will have to do ever again. I fell in love with Hong Kong. I came back home to Milan after the 3 months, but then I decided to quit modeling because I was like, I'm done with this. I cannot do this anymore. And then I started thinking throughout the summer, I think I want to go back. I want to go back, just one-way flight and try to find my own way there. And that's what I did. I just bought a one-way flight to Hong Kong in September and I tried to find a job there.
How did that look like?
During high school, a few years before, I did some video projects just for fun, just with a GoPro. You know the things, when you buy your first GoPro and then you just shoot videos and you don't even edit it, right? And I'm like, you know what? In Hong Kong, everything is developed up and down. There's no space for actual print advertising. So I'm like, everyone is on social media. In the tube in Hong Kong, which is called MTR, there is connection everywhere. So if you enter the tube in Hong Kong, you see that every single person is just scrolling. And I'm like, there's a huge opportunity here because everyone is on their phone. Everyone can find out about businesses that are on the 18th floor of a random building just through social media. So I'm like, you know what? I know that I can make videos. I didn't have a computer at the time. Like I was in Hong Kong without a computer. So I'm like, you know what? I need to start proposing myself as a videographer. So I met a guy that was owned like a couple of restaurants in Hong Kong through whatever an event. I don't even remember. And then I told him, listen, I can make videos. I'll make videos free for you. And then if you like my stuff, you can hire me. So I went with my iPhone and started making videos.
Okay, I was just about to ask if you had a camera or something. So it was just iPhone.
iPhone only. And I didn't have a computer. So what I did, because I really wanted to impress that guy at first. So I took my iPhone, I went there, I made the video, and then I told the guy, tomorrow you're going to have it. Which means basically I had to edit throughout the whole night. And that's what I did. I asked to my flatmate her computer, which was an old MacBook that was like, oh my God, so slow.
What were you editing on? Like what program?
iMovie,
okay.
So I started editing in iMovie at 6 a.m. I finished the edit and I sent it to the guy.
I think this just shows to anyone watching, like this is just the definition of passion. Yeah. But when you're doing it, you don't even know you're like doing it. But now looking back, like, it's like you did it because it was just like clear to you that like you wanted to do that. And it's just like really nice to...
Yeah, you can find it.
Do you remember kind of like the first paid job?
What happened is that with the guy of the restaurant, basically, we started a conversation regarding the negotiation process, like negotiation for contracts and stuff, because he wanted to hire me. But then I've heard that he was not very nice to employees, meaning that he would promise you a lot at the beginning, but then once hired, he would just like make you work a lot and just not a lot of compensation. Okay. So it was basically a month since I arrived in Hong Kong. And throughout that month, I started applying like crazy everywhere I could. Yeah. And because I had also a personal training license, I had a gym that was interested in my profile. Okay. So I went and talked with the guy from the gym, and they were very excited because they love foreigners there. So they were all basically Hong Kong people. Yeah. And they wanted to have someone outside the country, let's say, as a face somehow. So at the end of the day, they made me a better offer than the guy in the restaurant. So I decided to go with them. Okay. And then I kept developing this video side sort of things on the side. I didn't want to make it as a business, but because I was really passionate about making videos, I started making videos when I was going for hikes or when I was going day out with friends and stuff, only with iPhone still. And then I think I bought a drone around that period. So just drone and iPhone put together, music, a bit of fun editing. And I was posting these things on Facebook, literally on Facebook with no other second, meaning. And then a friend of mine reached out saying, hey, I saw your videos. I actually need to make a videos for my gym. Do you, do you want to help out? I'm like, absolutely. Yes. Dang. So did that video with an iPhone 7. And then another person reached out and I'm like, hey, I have this video. I need to make this video. Do you want to help out? I'm like, yes, done. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, maybe this thing, can be something, can bring me an income on the side, even if one day a week, who cares, right? And then an agency reached out and said like, I'm looking for a videographer. I love your style. Can we have a chat? We had a chat, and then she was like, okay, I have a few jobs that we can do together. We can start working together slowly. I'm like, yeah.
What kind of videos were you making?
I made a couple for gyms, a few for that restaurants, because I then worked with that guy many times after that as a freelancer.
Were you like doing some crazy transitions, or were just like?
I was learning a lot. I was I was like all the time, and for my free time, I was always on YouTube learning all the transition tricks, grading, all the stuff, and just try to apply as much as possible. So yes, I was doing already all the things.
And still iPhone 7, iMovie.
A few months into this thing where I started working with the agency, and like I got friends reaching out, I'm like, okay, it's time to invest in a camera. So I bought a camera.
Which one?
Sony A7S Mark II, secondhand, cool. With a 55 f1.8 only. And I had that one lens, and I did all my first gigs just with that lens. That's it.
Yeah, I remember it was also the same for me, because I think 50, I had, 1.8? Yeah. I think it's just, I started with Canon. It was just like price-wise, it just made sense to grab that. Literally, we're shooting everything. Up until like 2 years ago, or a year ago, I was using the kit lens 28-70 with variable aperture and 50. That was, to be fair, 50 is such an incredible lens.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You're getting like somewhere with this video stuff now, and you're like, I guess you're enjoying life more. Yeah. It's more like you're getting more pleasure out of it. You're making some money. What then made you then leave there and come to London and to study?
I kept my gym job for the whole 3 years when I stayed in Hong Kong, because it was paying very well and I was very much free. I managed to get up as a manager, fitness manager, quite quickly.
Okay.
So
was it a part-time job or a full-time?
Full-time job. Full-time
Okay.
job. So what I was doing is that I was working 5 days a week in the gym, and then the other 2 days I was juggling between some freelance modeling things, if they were paying good, and the video stuff. Right. Plus I was Plus, I was also working as a PR some evenings in a club. And when I was working as a PR, I met my girlfriend.
Okay.
She passed by there. We exchanged whatever numbers, but she was not into me at all because she hated like the PR things. But then she bumped into me the day after when I was going to work at the gym.
Yeah.
So, to make a long story short, we started hanging out for quite a few months, then kind of didn't talk much, and then got back, and then whatever. Nothing happened until we started like dating seriously. And at the time it was 2019. I was still working a few days, let's say as a video guy, whenever I was free from the gym. And then in 2019, the protest in Hong Kong happened, where basically they started fighting a lot against some laws and stuff in China. Basically, China is trying to take over Hong Kong, and Hong Kong people, they don't like that because they want to stay independent. So it became very violent, very, very dangerous. And also the gym stayed closed for a few days. During the weekend, you couldn't go out because there were like bombs, and they were fighting big time.
So how long was the period when that started happening and you actually moving out of Hong Kong?
Protest, if I'm not mistaken, started around March 2019, or probably March or May, maybe something like that. And then in July, basically my girlfriend was moving from Hong Kong to London. And that's like, basically I decided, all right, maybe it's my time to move out. Also because Hong Kong is so far from my family. Every time it was a big pain in the ass. So
when you were living those 2.5 years, whatever it was in Hong Kong, did you ever come home and visit?
Every 6 months I was coming home for a couple of weeks.
Cool.
But one of the problems in Hong Kong is that the contract they gives you only 7 paid days, paid leave days, holiday throughout the year. So every time I was coming home, it's nothing, right?
Because the average is what, 30? 28.
Yeah, every time I was coming home was basically for 2 weeks, and I had to pay no pay leave. So it was a pain, but money was good anyway, so that's fine. But then I felt like I was missing home a bit, obviously, because long time. And then I was feeling, kind of feeling in love with my girlfriend. So I decided maybe that's the time to do it.
So you went for love, basically.
Did you guys move in together immediately?
Oh, really? I got an apartment inside the university for the first years, because I decided to start university when moving to London.
Oh, okay. How come?
I saw that in Hong Kong, I was being rejected from many job positions just because I didn't have a degree. When I came to the UK, my girlfriend did all the school degrees and stuff in the UK. So she explained to me and she helped me getting into the university here in the UK, because I had no idea how it worked. At the beginning, I was very scared, because obviously it was not my native language, and I was not as good as I am now with the confidence of the English. I just learned literally in Hong Kong, because when I arrived in Hong Kong, I was just moving my hands. Right? I need to eat, I need to drink and stuff.
So you spoke no English when you moved to?
No, almost nothing.
That's crazy. You didn't learn English in like primary school in Italy?
Or high school?
In Italy, we are very bad at teaching English in high school. Like, the level is incredibly low, super difficult to learn there. So basically, when you finish high school, you're barely able to speak a normal conversation, basic conversation. So I was very scared in the UK, and then I thought that the UK university were difficult. So I dropped every single activity that I was doing. I was not doing any videos anymore, any photos, anything. Also because I lost the camera, we can go into it afterwards. Then I started focus only on university. But then a few months in, I understood that university in the UK is very easy comparing to what is in Italy. So I started basically not focusing that much on university anymore, but more focusing on like, all right, maybe I want to do more of the video things. Let's pick it up again and let's see if I can do something.
I think I've heard the same, because like I never went to university. I took a gap year and here I am still not studying. But like just speaking to my friends, they study you know, because like in Slovenia, it's also like, it's difficult. It's like, and yeah, I have friends here too, like my best friend, she studies here, and not that it's easy, but it's so much more relaxed. Like you can see people having more free time, going out, like doing like passion projects on the side here studying 100%. Than in Slovenia. Your girlfriend had a huge impact on, I guess, why we're even here today, right?
Yeah,
with the
100%,
whole TikTok. So tell us about that.
Basically, throughout the lockdown, I moved in with my girlfriend. She was living in Bournemouth at that time, not in London, because her workplace was there. And then I saw her started scrolling this TikTok app, and only cats and like dancing people were popping off. And I'm like, you've got to stop watching this, because it's gonna destroy your brain. And then I was following a photographer, an Italian photographer on Instagram, and I saw that he was posting about TikTok, and he basically showcased that in a week he gained like 30K followers. I'm like, oh my goodness.
So at this point, were you like, how into social media were you?
0.
Right.
Just
That's insane.
Like
Just
nothing, because I thought in order to grow on social media, you had to be someone. You had to be famous. You could not grow on your own organically.
You have to know people on that stuff. But what made you think that way?
In the modeling world, it's kind of like you have to buy followers, and you have to have a social media presence, and everyone buys followers just because you need to have that 15K. So at that time I had 15K, but 90% were fake.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just for the image.
Because it gives you that presence as well.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but that's how it is.
That's a really interesting conversation. Now, if we go on a tiny little bit of tangent, but quickly, your thoughts on blue tick, because I think that's kind of like almost a similar thing now, people buying for the blue tick.
I think it's ridiculous because it loses all its value. And talking about the blue tick, it's been 2 years that I've been investing in PR because I wanted my name to pop up on Google. So I invested quite a bit, like several thousand in that. Yeah. And I thought I was getting almost ready to apply and get it because I got featured in loads of magazines. But then they announced that they would make it paid. I'm like, nah. We've
had a few conversations when people said that they would buy it because it makes them potentially more attractive to clients.
In my opinion, you're just same as everyone else now. Sure. Yeah. You like, the point is, if before you had it, then yes, you had a massive advantage. And that's why I invested also a few thousand in trying and getting it. Yeah. But now, because everyone can get it, everyone is at the same level. So you actually don't have something more.
Okay. Yeah, there's people now. I saw someone yesterday that had 1,400 followers and they had it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone can buy it. My mom can buy it.
We had this, any
My mom can verify,
And it's like, this is the thing I was saying about how people of an older generation would maybe have just got to the realization of what a blue tick meant with someone of some stature. And now they'll see any old account with a blue tick and they'll be like, oh, they must be someone famous or must be big, and they're not. Because it's accessible for everyone now.
Yeah. Let's go back to TikTok. You follow this guy, you're inspired by him, seeing how much he can grow. It looks like he's not paying for his followers. So you jump on the trend. What was kind of like your plan?
Yeah, I'm a very determined person. At that time is where I decided I want to change my life, or at least try to change my life. And I decided to post 3 videos a day for 3 months, no matter what. Okay. So that was my goal every day. And I basically did it. Like, I generally never missed a single day for 3 months.
That's amazing.
For the first 1.5, 2 months, it was like very much struggling. And sometimes my girlfriend would like post a random post and would get more views than me. I'm like, mate, what? You post 3 videos, you're getting 1,000 views. And I post like 3 videos a day for like 2 weeks and I get like 500. Whatever. I kept like posting stuff. And then, as always, a random video that I thought it was like not pretty great. Bad. Yeah, great. Got like 15K views. I'm like, that's interesting.
What was the video?
BS video, big time. I kind of like, I don't even want to say it. It was basically just like how to shoot a flower. Don't shoot it from the top, but shoot it from the bottom. Okay. Which it doesn't really work for the majority of flowers, but for that one in particular, it worked.
Oh, we love the honesty. That's so good.
No, that's true because, like honestly, making photography videos, because it's not about dancing or like saying a phrase, right? It's about doing a little tutorial 3 times a day for every time something different from the previous day, from tomorrow. It's a lot. Yeah. So any opportunity I got, I was just making a video, whatever, no matter what.
You didn't have a goal being like, I want to grow 100K.
No.
You just had a goal
I want to
of
see
a
if
habit,
it's possible,
right?
yes, if it's possible to grow.
Yeah.
Because I saw this guy and he was making very, very simple tutorials and he was growing and I was believing it. I believed that it was possible. Because, you know, TikTok started being on news and like 1 billion users in whatever time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, there's something
And
here.
we're in actual like lockdown at this point, are we?
Yeah, we're in lockdown.
And what about your
Actual lockdown.
ideas? Because you made so many videos. How did you go about planning your ideas? And did you just brainstorm for an hour for like a week worth of content? How did that look?
I'm quite good at like generating ideas. So for every social media, I have like a massive Apple Note folder with literally hundreds of ideas. I don't remember exactly how I generated that time ideas, but it's more about you scroll, you see what's working and you apply, or when I'm walking and I see something interesting, I'll make a tutorial on that photo.
It's also easier at that point because I was doing the same and I would like make videos in the garden of like shooting like fruit dropping into a bowl, you know, just like
slow-mo.
Yeah, because it was just things like that you think, oh, that could be a video and just make it. And you know, I think similar with me, you know, I just found I posted for a while and then I got traction and then it was like, okay, this works, right? Let's just keep making them. What was the first video that really popped off?
It was throughout the summer. So we already passed that threshold of 3 months. And I think after 4 or 5 months throughout the summer, I made a video that I think something I've never seen before, a technique that I used that I brought from the modeling world into the photography to make like dynamic photo.
And so how many followers did you have at the time?
Maybe 10K.
That's kind of crazy that you've posted how many videos? Like 3 times a day for 3 months.
So let's say when that video popped off, let's say we were 4 months in, which means 120 days, 3 videos a day would be like 360 videos.
It's kind of crazy because I'm sure to some people, because now, especially knowing how much you can grow on TikTok, it's like for someone it could easily be discouraged after a month, right? That they haven't gained like 400,000 followers yet. So that's really impressive.
I think I posted like 30 until one went crazy, but I thought that was a lot. I was like, oh no, when's like this is long. This is
like how many views that one got?
13 million.
13 million, 13.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, it got 5 million views in one day. But I'd already had a 1 million view video at that point.
Oh, okay.
But I went from 60,000 to 260,000 in 4 days.
What? That's crazy. Yeah. My video, the one that popped off, was around 4.5 months, I think, in since I started, and that one got like 6 million views.
Okay.
And how did that feel? How did that like that moment when,
mate?
Because you know when you hit 10K really quickly, and you're like, okay, this is gonna go somewhere, and then it just keeps going.
No, with that one, I woke up in the morning and I'm like, mate, what's going on? Like, you know, when you see like I think it was 100, like 100 plus thing, and like literally, I was refreshing every 2 seconds, and every time it was 100 plus, I'm like, mate, I keep
TikTok.
And then I think in 3 days I gained like 100K or something.
Okay. Crazy.
Probably 80K. So it was a very quick shoot up.
That's that dopamine feeling, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
It's a crazy feeling.
But it's very negative because now I'm looking for it. It never comes back again.
Yeah.
Good old times, you know.
And because of that video, in that video I used an old Joby Gorilla Pod, like the very old model that I found,
3K.
I think.
Or the 5K one.
I know, it was black and white.
The Casey model,
Black and white.
Okay.
Like a very...
The original one that would,
very old. And I guess someone from Joby saw that, and I received an email a couple of days after saying from Joby, it's like, hey, we saw your video and we love it, but we saw you have an older model. If you want, we can send you new ones for free. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? Free
stuff?
The first interaction from a brand, then they're like, we want to give you something.
First interaction.
That is sick. How did you, after that thing popped off, how did you feel about creating content? So sorry, because I stopped you there. What was it? A model?
A technique he took from modeling.
Yes, from that video, I understood the power of taking things from outside the photography world and then bring it in, just to be different from someone else. Okay. Because what happened after a few months is that I started integrating a lot more my experience as a model into my content, and I think it's my signature right now that I'm the ex-model teaching people how to pose, let's say.
Sure.
I think I'm like, even on Instagram, all my posing videos, they
do really well.
They do really well every single time.
Okay.
And I grew to the numbers that I am today on Instagram
because of those videos.
Basically because of that.
But it's kind of cool because I guess people do want to take advice from you and they do appreciate it when you show them how to do those things because you're just experienced in that.
I think it's also very inspiring for other people because the message that I try to say to everyone that want to start with something is combine your experiences, combine your talents together, and then create something that, you know, resonates with you in different, you know, from different perspectives. Because what I say is there are millions of photographers out there, but there are not millions of photographers that are also model and that have lived in Hong Kong. They know different cultures and they did university in the UK. Try to combine all your different, your mixes. Each of us has
something
its own differences, right? And that things you combine. I think, Gareth, you like the bike, right? So, you know, it's
good to basically what you mean is to incorporate other
who
parts of your life into you as a creator.
Exactly.
I think that with the videos, you're showing you know how to use a camera and how to pose.
And I did not realize how much people are actually embarrassed in front of the camera, which means people really, they do not know what to do in front of the camera. Whereas for me, it was obvious. Like, you just put the foot here, you just do this. Like for me, it was not even
something you have to think
about. No, nothing. But then like literally people, they're so embarrassed and they want to know what to do because they don't know what to do, right? So something that was easy for me is not easy for other people. So that is another angle you can think about your content. Is there something that for you it's very easy, but for other people it's not, and that you can maybe teach them or guide them?
Going back to Joby, you're like, oh my God, free stuff. So was that not paid at all?
They basically wanted to have a meeting with me, and we had a meeting, and we were just talking through. They wanted to know a bit about my background and stuff, and they basically said, you know what, pick whatever you want on the website between the Joby group, which, you know, is also Manfrotto, Low Pro, Syrup, and other stuff. And like, what, I can choose whatever I want? What do you mean? Like, give me a limit. Like, what does that mean? Because for me, like, even if you send me a gorilla pod, I'm already rich. And I said, you know, I give them a list, and the list was like 500 pounds worth of gear. And I said, you know what, that you guys choose. I don't want to ask these things. And they send me all those things and even more.
Because it's funny because we just did a few jobs with Rose, and they're sending stuff from Australia, right? So even if like they send you stuff and then they pay you to make videos, is they will put more stuff in the package anyway to like fill up the cage.
The latest stuff we did with the wireless Me, obviously they're not going to send a tiny wireless Me box from Australia. They gave us 2 sets of headphones, some merch, just to make the package to be more cost effective for them.
For them it's positive because they know that I would use those stuff in my videos, and I was already, you know, more than 100K at the time. So that like kept going for a few months, meaning that they would just send me a few stuff whenever they had something new. And then in the new year, after maybe 6 or 8 months, they proposed me to become an ambassador.
And how did that work out with like pricing and how much of that was from their side and the agreement, and how much input did you give on the whole?
I'll be very honest. I had absolutely no idea. Like I told them as well, listen guys, I've never done this before. I have no idea how much this can be worth. So you give me a price and I'll sign.
At that point, you're 100K, but you're still unsure how much to charge because it's something new to you. Do you have friends? So you didn't have really any friends in the industry that you can be like, hey, like the same way you guys talk about certain projects? Or
so it was literally by heart, and that time started, like a few companies started reaching out for like small jobs and stuff. And looking back now, I'm like freaking undercharged like crazy. I could have charged probably 20 times more at the beginning. I think the first jobs I did it for like $50 or $80 for a video, something like that, which already more than 100K.
It's a confidence thing, right?
No, for sure. It's just like you don't know, you don't understand
how much you're worth. Exactly.
And then, so let's say Joby found you through TikTok, but then when you signed with them, was that cross-platform thing?
Yes, cross-platform.
Cool.
They wanted exclusivity across all their groups brand, which means also Manfrotto, so tripods, microphones. They came a bit later, so not microphone at that time. Bags, all the accessories, and also motion control, because they have SERP, which have sliders and stuff. So I signed for the exclusivity for the whole group, basically.
What about a big favorite job that you've done for them?
With Joby, I always had complete freedom to create whatever I wanted. And to be really honest, is like Joby stuff is always in my content. Like I always use Joby stuff, whether it's a tripod, whether it's a small tripod for the phone, which is always with me. So I never really did one big project for them because it was constant content nonstop.
Right.
But it's very natural, very organic. Same thing also when I do with non-light stuff. I never did like a massive big project.
Campaign kind of thing.
Yeah, no, because it's constantly in my content because I use lights every single time I create content.
You know, I can name a few people which, let's say Diana Canieres, like she just uses Nan light. It's in most of her stuff, and it's like nice because you just know from viewers' perspective that she loves the stuff.
To trust the brand.
Yeah.
I hope so, because for Nightlight, for example, the contract that I have with them is one content a month.
Yeah.
And up to now, we are May, which is the 5th month. I think I posted 25 videos for them.
Oh, wow.
Instead of 5. Like literally. Because for me, when I use them, I just tag them in the caption and why not? And I explain people what kind of materials I'm using for the content, whether I use a small power tool, whether I use a bigger light and stuff. So
I think that's really cool.
There's no problem. Even though I'm getting paid for one, but I don't care. Like I use them anyway. So
exactly.
It's also a good way to keep the relationship. And I think for anyone watching, it's also the kind of sometimes like under promise, over deliver.
Exactly.
You know, it's kind of like the same vibe.
Like, why not? Because it's like you said, you're making the content anyway. It's with you all the time. You may as well just speak about it.
What about your just favorite project in general?
The Xiaomi one was probably the one that really changed the game, meaning that it was lockdown. I was in Italy.
Okay.
And to make a long story short, they paid me. They paid all my expenses to come from Italy to the UK because there was no time to ship the phone in Italy. Okay. So for me, the fact that they paid for my flights and they also paid, at that time it was like a COVID test and like stuff that was like crazy expensive, like £200 plus the flight. And it was ridiculous. I'm like, okay, then I'm into something, because if they pay me and they pay all my expenses with all the creators that are in the UK, why me?
So you came to the UK, they gave you the phone.
I stayed in the UK because my girlfriend was in London at the time, so I just stayed with her. Okay, cool. And we did a live together, and I created the content with the phone. Then I had to return the phone because it was like one of the very few phones that were out there.
Right. Okay.
And I did actually with Luke.
Oh, okay.
He did that same thing. We were me and him.
Okay,
so,
sick.
Yeah, it was sick.
One company you work with, and apparently you're one of their most successful influencers, is Intel. How did that come about?
They came to me the first time, and it was quite early. Again, it was 2 years ago. So even there, it was like very difficult for me to negotiate stuff because I didn't know budgets and anything. But even there, they basically said, okay, we have this computer. I think these are the key point that we would like to promote. Is there a way you can integrate into your content? So I give them proposals, and they were, we made a project, and they were very happy. They used also these videos to promote, and they pushed them like crazy. I'm talking about 10+ million views. Oh, wow. Also in paid ads. So I'm like, okay, that means it worked. Yeah, it worked out. And then what happened is they basically got back to me the following year, which is 2022. And they said they wanted to work with me again for that campaign, and I'll be the one, basically the only UK one,
like the
for
face
the face of the UK.
Amazing.
Within a global campaign.
Wow.
And it's crazy because obviously it's amazing when a company comes back to you and said, your content was the best performing. And they give me, complete freedom on the proposals. I made a much bigger project in 2022, which included 3 locations.
Was that the one when you went to Dolomites?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So we did the Dolomites just for them. We did Florence just for them. And the third part was shot in London before Christmas themed. Okay. So that was a way bigger project, probably the biggest that I've ever done. and was 3 times the budget at the beginning, probably a bit more than 3 times.
Was that maybe one of your most paid jobs?
The most paid one.
Now you're looking back on, let's say, the Joby job and you're pricing the Intel job. What are some things you wish you told to your younger self when you were pricing the Joby stuff?
It's honestly extremely challenging still today. It's very, very difficult to price things. The easiest way to make this happen and to charge the right amount is just to talk to other creators.
Yeah.
If you come to me and you have a job and you don't know how much to charge, just message even bigger ones and ask them for suggestions, because we've all been there. So I would be more than happy to help anyone that is asking for help. Obviously, there's not a right or wrong answer, especially because it depends on the company. Usually bigger companies, they tend to have bigger budgets and they understand the value that you bring to the company with your face, with the fidelity that you have with your people, the confidence and stuff like this. So I think the only way to really understand is to reach out to other people and try to work it out. Talking with similar creators and also bigger creators, because maybe they can give you a suggestion. It's a bit of a trial and error at the beginning a lot. The way I do it right now is that I really try to understand what's their budget first. Like I try to never mention my own prices unless they really ask for it.
Okay.
So I try to ask their budget and then I work out whether it is possible to push their budget or do something, whatever that is. Because obviously, if you offer me £1,000, I cannot go to the Dolomites for 5 days, rent a car, pay a freaking videographer and make a video, right? So instead, if you offer me £15,000, then yes, I can go to the Dolomites, hire a person, hire a car and do 5 days there. So it's a bit of a tricky situation to understand the price. It's probably one of the most challenging things about being a creator.
How much do you actually invest in the project from the budget?
Now it's changing a bit, but up to 2022, things that were getting numbers on Instagram and TikTok were like poorly produced content, which means made with the phone in a home setting where people can relate. As is today, is in the past few months, and that's also where I'm trying to adapt a bit, I see that also highly produced content with higher quality, with much more thought behind it, planning, big cameras and stuff. They also, they're doing better on social media. So right now, maybe my answer can be a bit different. Before because everything was had to be relatable, then I tried to don't create crazy stuff. Even the budget allowed for it. Obviously with Intel, because the budget was big, I could afford to do 3 people all paid in the Dolomites, and we spent a lot of money obviously there, but still there was a lot of margin for me as well to work out.
But I also think that when it's for an incredible big client and you also get paid decent amount, ultimately just for your own sake, you do want to produce probably the best work you've ever done, right?
Other side of things is, I don't know if I can mention it, but work with Google, and that was extremely difficult because they gave us a deadline of 1 week. Like, how can you produce? The budget was good. I could have made way better content. I'm not even happy. I'm kind of angry with myself because I did not perform well with that campaign. But even if you have a budget, but you have only 1 week, how can you organize a trip with 3 people somewhere with a phone? Like,
time restraints are just not possible. There's a case of like do or die kind of thing, like get it done as soon as possible. But there's pressure involved with something like that 100%. When it's a week and it's filming with the phone.
And I noticed that usually big companies, they're very much like that. Like it's incredibly difficult. With Intel, I was kind of lucky because we had a big runway where I was able to organize things properly. And I think the project came out absolutely sick. Like, I'm super happy. I think one of the best photos I've ever taken, and the videos performed almost all of them very well.
You've done 3 short form videos for them?
It's actually 6 videos.
Okay.
Total 6 videos divided in 3 different waves.
Okay.
So one wave was 2 videos in Florence, one wave of 2 videos in the Dolomites, one wave of 2 videos on Christmas time, focusing on different things on the computer and how that could be integrated in my workflow. And that's how it actually works.
Did you actually decide to do it in those 3 different places just because you had the budget and you could do it and you wanted to do something different than perhaps London, or was that a requirement?
No, it was not a requirement. It was just like, what is the best way I can integrate organically the use of these good things about a computer in my workflow. One of those is that basically converts from a laptop becomes a tablet.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of benefit with that. For example, one thing that I can, when I bring it with me out on a shoot, I can, attach the camera and then maybe I can put on tent mode and the model can see the mood board or the poses directly in the computer like this. Then the second thing is that I can use a pen and also type, or it was pretty light. So, showcasing that you're going to the mountain, you wouldn't bring a Mac Pro on the mountains because it's too heavy. So that was another way on communicating.
I remember seeing that video. I liked it.
Aside from a big job like that, let's say back to normal kind of creating, how do you stay consistent?
I always have like a back catalog of things that I can pull out. And whenever I go on a shoot, let's say I'll organize something, I try to organize and create a lot. So I think that the simple answer is batch content. I always try to, whenever I go out or try to shoot maybe with a model like you guys came, that was just a fun project for a YouTube video. Then there, I think I did like 4 or 5 reels, which gives me, if I post every other day, I have 2 weeks worth of content in basically one day.
One thing that you mentioned, your girlfriend now, she's in a lot of your videos. I really wonder, how does that look like?
She's very she's happy to help, let's say. Okay. She doesn't die for helping me, let's say. Sometimes it's a bit forced. But
she's even behind the camera at times as well, right?
Yeah. Because of my life and my work, we get a lot of benefits, both of us. So I feel that it's totally fine to ask her a bit to help.
I mean, it benefits both of you at the end of the day,
exactly.
right?
Like, I wouldn't she doesn't come to me and wanted to help, right?
Hey, can we make more videos?
She would do without it, but anytime I ask her, she's fine with helping. As long as I'm fast doing things, which I try to be fast whenever she's involved, like prepare everything. I know the shot, I know what I want. She comes, we do the shot, done, finished.
Sometimes with me, let's say, I find when I want to find work, but I want to create at the same time. And it's like, which one do you prioritize? Well, if I make this video, this could, again, change your life for the second, third time or whatever. But it's like, you need to also ensure you're getting paid all the time or whatever. So like with you, even throughout, let's say, even throughout the career, finding the balance of creating and
especially when you get
maintaining that for the financial freedom.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with our work is actually that it's not consistent, right? So you have periods where like loads of stuff, and then periods where it's like very low, you have nothing to do. So I've tried to hire freelancers first. Yeah. I work with an editor, with a guy that was following ads to promote my digital products. I have a virtual assistant that I pay per hour, which is great because whenever I need her, I can pay her.
And when it comes to the output of the work, then with Instagram and TikTok, you're editing all of that yourself, but then with YouTube, someone's editing for you, right?
TikTok and Instagram, because it's fairly quickly, my content is not complicated, quite simple, then I do everything myself. When it comes down to YouTube, I had an editor before and it took me so long to train him, but then after I think a couple of years, he resigned. And then where the nightmare began, because from January, I've been trying to find an editor, and it's incredibly difficult, especially because I use Final Cut, for example, and I want someone that uses Final Cut so that I can edit libraries. And the solution that I had before with my previous editor was like, he was doing the rough cut and adding small things. Then I would finish the video as I wanted.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was perfect for me. Like that's what I need, because I don't want to waste the 3, 4, 5 hours to do the rough cut, because it's time wasted for me. It will be the same with everyone. But the finish, like the finished touch, the touches and all the things and the little animation, little sounds that maybe a person does not see, or maybe it's too difficult for me to explain, then I wanted to do it myself. And that's why the Final Cut is a requirement, because if you pass me the library, I can finish it myself. I don't know Premiere Pro. I don't know.
You've never edited it?
No, and I don't want to edit. I don't know anything about that program, because I've heard only bad things.
Final Cut is iMovie Pro, basically.
Yeah,
and it's very easy.
Very easy.
That's what I started out with.
I need everything. Like everything that I need is in there.
It hurts. Come on. Of course, now you have a Skillshare course. You're selling digital products. Tell me a little bit about different income streams you have.
One of the biggest suggestions that I can give to creators is that, because this is such an uncertain world, like being a freelancer, is if there is a way you can find some sort of retainers, that will be the goal, to give you that peace of mind to be free when you create on other things. And for me, I've been unbelievably lucky, because I've been able to get Joby for 2 years in a row. Nightlight, Skillshare is another thing that brought me some big satisfaction last year. And it's trying to get something that comes in every month and they give you that peace of mind. And then whatever is extra and put it on top.
It's so funny because the next question is about AI.
With social media, like, or just from the creative standpoint, from the business standpoint, it can help us massively.
Yeah.
Like from sending emails now, we only use AI to help us with that. Because
I mean, I'm sometimes a bit like ashamed that like I even just copy paste the email into ChatGPT and be like reply just because I get lazy now. But at the same time, it's just so advanced, you know?
So beneficial.
Yeah.
But then where do you see, like, I guess if you're saying you want to work with it, but where do you see perhaps the journey with yourself and AI going in regards to social media?
I mean, I can talk about hours on this. Is I personally feel overwhelmed right now because so many things are happening and I just cannot, handle everything that has been happening. But I do recognize that right now, because I'm young and I'm in tech, I think I'm the first generation, we are the first generation that they're going to be able to witness this massive change. Yeah. And either you reject it and you're going to be behind, or you're going to embrace it and you're going to hopefully skyrocket, whatever it is. So I want to integrate AI in my content and I want to integrate AI in my business, not necessarily with photography, which means I want to try to expand and see if I can do something else apart from photography, which is also a good thing because social media has been so unpredictable that it is way better to have something else as a plan B, which I want to have because I don't like anymore this kind of Instagram now reels and then post and then now reaches zero because it's crazy.
So what would you say is your favorite AI tool or something?
That you've
maybe
used.
3 of them that you use on a daily basis that have completely transformed your workflow.
You couldn't live without.
ChatGPT is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing for so many different things. Is really crazy. Yeah. And one of the things that I say now is when NFT started, popping off, I hated them. I always believed they were a massive bubble with no real value for society rather than speculation and make money out of it if you would be lucky. Yeah. I genuinely hated it. Like it was getting me nervous because it was going so much and I felt I was, I was behind because I didn't want to invest in these things because I just hated them. Like I didn't believe in them. In fact, they exploded because there's no real value in society. Whereas now with AI, I can see AI is meant to stay. AI is going to be integrated in our life of everyone. It's like touch screens, right? At the beginning, some people were like, they want physical buttons. They didn't like touch screens. And then right now, there's not a single person, not even the grandma that doesn't have
a touch screen,
right? AI is going to be the same because it changes the game completely and helps you on 360 degrees on whatever you do.
Let's say with ChatGPT being your favorite, we can relate as well. What is one thing using ChatGPT that you've completely like transformed how you go about doing a certain thing? Is that coming up with ideas? Is that replying to emails?
The main things that I do right now is create better text. For example, I have a newsletter that I post every Sunday. Yep. I have a few thousand people in there. And right now I'm trying to use AI to elaborate my concepts and write it in a better and more catchy English, because obviously it's not my native language, even though I did university, but I still find difficult to write in English, proper English, let's say. I use ChatGPT a lot to come up with ideas. I asked ChatGPT to find me resources as well. For example, when I was looking for the video editors, I'm like, what are some companies that do video editing for you? Okay. And they gave me like 5 answers. And I'm like, dang, I had no idea about these websites. And this is amazing. And then I use it writing YouTube videos. I'm experimenting with it because I'm now in a very like crazy moment with YouTube because
we had a conversation.
Numbers are incredibly low compared to the effort that I put in them. And I'm very, 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 very much behind of the average user, especially given my past as a videographer.
And I think the biggest frustration for you, what we spoke about on WhatsApp, is you don't really know why. And I think one really interesting thing that you said is he actually took the Ali Abdal part-time YouTuber course, which I don't have, but I think from what I've seen, I would say it's great.
It's amazing.
If you buy the course, you can have conversations with Ali's team and they can give you advice and kind of like go through metrics. And it's the frustrating thing for you because everything should work really well, but it doesn't, and you kind of like can't like pinpoint why is that a thing.
That's the biggest
And
problem.
how much do you actually spend on the time filming those YouTube videos?
I'm even in it. My TikTok.
Oh my God,
true.
yeah, yeah.
That's actually crazy because she was like random scrolling with my phone.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Ali, right, and all the other YouTubers say consistency. Right?
Yeah.
Consistent. I'm a big believer in consistency,
Yeah.
and I'm a
And
very
you are very
determined person, and I'm very
consistent,
consistent, right? So when I say I do things. But with YouTube, I posted I think 140 videos in basically 2 years, or like slightly less, which means every single week it was 2 videos a week. Non-stop for 2 years, non-stop, for real. Sometimes I posted even 3. But
how many subscribers?
I've got 17K subscribers.
Okay.
I also hired a consultant to help me with that, to understand what was going wrong and stuff. So in December, I decided, okay, let's stop this consistency game and let's focus more on quality. So I decided to take Thumbnail University from Film Booth. I don't know if you know that thing, the channel.
I think I've heard a bit.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So I took that course and I took Ali's course.
Yeah.
Then I hired professional people to have a look at my channel and, do like one-on-one coaching. And I decided, okay, from now on, I'm gonna, because in January, I lost my previous editor because he resigned because he was changing job completely. So at that time, I'm like, taking editing on me, it would be crazy, but I want to try. I want to see if maybe the difference is the editor, because the editor that I had before was not as good as me, whatever you want. So I'm like, okay, let's try myself.
As dynamic.
Yeah, I want to try. I want to try. So I made a couple of videos, banger videos, where I did everything myself.
Okay.
And those videos, I think I put 40, 50 hours into them.
And what was the result?
Ridiculously low. I think 300 views, 400 views in just 2 videos.
What gave you your 17K? Was there a video that you did well on?
Do you also post shorts?
I don't want to post shorts. I'm very much against shorts.
Okay.
And subscribers, so the first few thousands were pretty easy because I have a big audience on TikTok and Instagram.
So just crossover.
And like I just pushed on those. And that, I think, is also what made me reach this point of breaking, because I pushed people also with giveaways to subscribe. So these people went, clicked subscribed, never watched my videos again, which will bring down CTR, which will bring down average view duration. And that was the biggest mistake. Guys, please do not do what I did. If you have a YouTube channel, if you want to start growing a YouTube channel, make it grow organically and do not cross-post it, because it's going to hurt it. It's going to hurt you. Don't do it. Do not do it. Okay?
As you can see, Simone's really hurt.
I'm actually dead.
Explain the shorts thing to me.
It's been proven. There are some big searches that basically they say that the audience that's watching shorts is very different from people that watch long
Which is
YouTube
true.
videos.
Yeah.
And therefore, I have a few friends. One that I know very well, that he's grown to over 100K subscribers just using shorts. And now when he posts a long video, he gets 300 views.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't want to grow another audience similar to TikTok and IG, which is impossible to convert. I want to grow an audience that is the YouTube audience, that is people that stay with you, that buys from you, that believes in you, and all this. And all
what if
this
you
thing.
try make a new channel and just start from scratch and just repost those videos?
Yeah,
maybe you can hack the system there.
So the situation that I'm right now is I want to do 10 of these highly produced videos.
Okay.
I'm trying to outsource now the editing, because I did 3 or 4 myself, 2 or 3, whatever, I don't remember. And now I want to try to do these highly edited videos with the editor that I'm trying, and then I finish them off with all the things that I want to finish off. I'm going to do 10 videos like this. I'll see if nothing moves regarding views, regarding subscribers and all the numbers. I'm going to take these highly produced videos and post them in a new channel and see if that will make any difference.
Okay, that's cool.
But I really do not want to post shorts.
I mean, it makes sense. I think Ali, he just recently posted a YouTube video, 4 million subscriber Q&A. You hit 4 million subscribers. How much of that did you grow through shorts and how much through the actual videos? And it was around millions more views through shorts, but he gained 100K subscribers through shorts, and he got millions, so much less million views through the channel, and he grew 400,000 subscribers, right? So it's just completely different audience.
There's way more value in his long form content. You're getting so much value in one video.
Yeah, and the risk is you post shorts, you're gonna grow, but you're not going to grow numbers on the long form ones. And I don't want that. I really don't want that.
Where do you think you would be right now today if you stayed in your hometown in Italy?
I'm very, very ambitious. So I don't know if I would have stayed anyway.
Okay.
But I do love teaching. I like, that's my biggest passion, teaching whatever that is. I want to teach people everything that I know. And I feel the swimming instructor and personal trainer would be a thing that I love, yeah.
Okay.
And there would have been a market for that where you were, or would you have had to travel somewhat?
No, there is a market. So definitely possible to do it there. Yeah. I mean, I worked as a swimming instructor in the local pool.
Oh, okay.
And they were like looking for instructors every single time. So I think I could have made a career there, but you know, it's nothing compared to this. Not a chance. Yeah.
Fast forward back to now. What are your plans for the future, creatively, in
personal
life? What is it that you see?
Okay, personal. I want to move to Dubai in October.
Okay.
I've been saying this to everyone so that I feel accountable for it.
Okay.
It's not that easy because obviously we need to see with my girlfriend, see how it goes, because she has a full-time job in London. So it might be a bit tricky. We'll see. We'll see. I'll let you know. I want to try to expand my business or even separate entity on the AI thing because I want to go into that wave somehow. I don't know how yet. And then I want to try to travel as much as possible.
Okay.
Because I feel so lucky right now that I can be anywhere in the world and keep doing what I do and keep earning what I earn, or maybe even less, whatever that is. But I just want to travel as much as possible because I feel time is running out. And in a few years, you might want to settle down, maybe have a family. I don't know.
Anywhere on the list that you really want to go to that you've not been to yet?
I don't know. I recently traveled to New York and to Madeira, and I absolutely love those two places. I kind of want to move there for 6 months each.
Incredible places.
Yeah, we went to Madeira in October for like 4 days. It's just
so good.
Incredible.
So good.
Like a paradise. And then I've never done the West Coast in the US. So I think I really, really want to do that. I want to do like a road trip for a month in the West Coast. And and that's it.
That was really good. I like your answer. Well, we don't have an outro and all that stuff, but thank you so much for watching Trust Your Choices. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, everything is at Trust Your Choices. And also please feel free to plug all your socials.
Oh, my social. At Sferro21 everywhere.
Last question, why 21?
Because my favorite football player was Pirlo. Do you know Pirlo?
Andrea Pirlo.
So he was 21 and then became my signature since I was extremely young and I just kept it.
Okay. So Sferro is just a short for your...
Yes, Ferro is because...
Simone and Ferretti.
Yeah. Okay. So Simone is the first letter because my brother always... the nickname was Ferro. So to different from him, I added my S at the beginning.
Okay, sick.
Fun.
Now we know. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. And check out all the everything.
All the juice.
Yeah, all the juice.
And we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah. Woo.
Peace.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.